Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is a game that I really can't recommend to you guys. Today I will speak about my thoughts after 35 hours in the game. Thank you for Ubisoft for granting early access to me. Stay tuned for all the info. What's up guys, I'm Franky Boy. On this channel I am talking about all the open world RPGs that I love, e.g. The Witcher, Assassin's Creed and Cyberpunk. With Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Ubisoft put out their newest addition to the Ubisoft open world formula, and I have to mention Far Cry for quite a few times in this video. Sorry for that. I will speak to you guys about the open world and navigation, activities and quests, hunting, hacking, etc., the clans and the system around it, the crafting system, the fighting system and mechanics. I will talk about flying with your icon, the story, shop and microtransactions, co-op, and of course I will recommend it or will not recommend it in the end and give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10. Alright, let's first start off with the open world. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is huge. It has a giant map. It's like 3 times bigger than The Division, and it's incredibly vast and rich of a world you want to explore. But the problem is, it is that big. Yeah, it's like an up and a downside at the same time. This is like a European needle forest combined with, of course, Pandora. Then we have these steppes, the prairie. It looks awesome as well. You find some insane rock structures on it. You can fly through this area and it is very open and very majestic, just great looking. Third part is of course the jungle. We know it from all the early access already. And yeah, the world itself, it's beautiful, but I have large problems with the navigation. Finding stuff is incredibly difficult, even with a hunter's guide or like the Navi sensors, which should show you your destination, but they sometimes don't, especially if you're too close to an object or so, and you end up like wandering around and wondering where to go. I think they should have done better on that, because they actually did better with that in Far Cry, etc. So it's like the first time that I actually really don't know where to go, and I had this a few times. I've been asking like JV, Andy Edition, Andy Reloads, Joraptor about it, and they all felt the same way. So it might not be my fault. What can you do in the open world? Of course, you can just go ahead and clear those RDA bases. And that's like the most fun thing to do, but also the most repetitive thing to do, because these bases, they are not unique at all. Even the large one, they appear 3 to 4 times per game, all the same layout. Even those guards, they appear at the same spots, have the same patrol routes, so it's like copy pasted into another area, and that really doesn't stand for quality in my opinion. The gameplay loop is fun though, so yeah, I like to do it anyways, even though it's repetitive and the same map over and over again. But yeah, besides that, you can't really do anything really fun in the open world. One thing you can really do is of course like finding those trees and touching them for skill points or health points. And yeah, I don't know, after the first 10 you really start to ask yourself, why am I doing this? To be honest with you guys, hunting is the most fun in the game, and that is like not that fun. You track down animals by going through your hunter's guide, you smell those senses, you follow the routes, and then you shoot it into a weak point. But yeah, then you struggle to get the loot out of it, because it's sometimes really hard to get the point where they want to give you the loot. Like, it's on this side. Why is it like that? So the hunting system, it should be deep, but it really isn't. You check out those biomes, check out where to go, and then you go there. But yeah, that's it. Next up we have the hacking minigame, and there's a good message for you. You can deactivate it in the gameplay settings, like deactivate the hacking system and you're good to go, because it isn't fun at all. It's just a maze going through it and matching a ring to another ring, and that's like being the Lord of the Rings, but in Avatar. No, it isn't. Of course, it's just like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a game at all, because it's not like they put Gwent into a game. That would be a nice mini game in a game that everyone likes. No, it's just like time stretching, I guess, and not a fun thing to do. You have to like see where all these pipes go and then connect those. But yeah, after the first 100 you ask yourself again, why am I doing this? Then we have the clans, and you get the clan reputation by doing something for them, especially like donating stuff, doing a quest, or killing RDA. And yeah, that's it. It's just like a form of money, I would say, because they don't have money on Pandora. Once you get that, it's totally fine and you can like get some nice stuff from those vendors, but it's nothing fancy. It's more like going there and collecting the stuff. I mean, it isn't bad. It's just like one form of a money replacement. And you get some pretty nice upgrades at the vendors, of course. But yeah, besides that, it doesn't have any depth to the system at all. It's not important to get reputation at a clan. It's just 4 items. There would have been so many possibilities to like increase your reputation, then gather up as a Navi group and take them as guns as a hire out like we had in Far Cry, but we don't have that. Why is it not in the game? It would have been such a nice addition to the game to have some guns as a hire and you access them by reputation in a clan when you max out your reputation. It would be so fun. But yeah, that's another missed opportunity for Ubisoft, in my opinion, that they even did better in their own games, and that makes me kind of sad. Crafting is the deepest system in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. That's what Ubisoft told me. And I think so, yeah, it is. But it isn't a deep crafting system, sadly. It's just a very easy one. You have to find those materials. That is the depth of the crafting system, and you really struggle to find those materials because they are sometimes very hard to find. Certain objects seem to be missing when you search them at a place, and then you come back, then they are back there. Crafting in general, I mean, it's a nice system. I love crafting, and I think it was done better in Far Cry before. Right here, you just collect stuff and try to craft something. It doesn't work. You really have to go and hunt for a certain thing. That's nice, I guess. But yeah, it doesn't have any depth. Again, you just have better parts to get better gear. And then you have the mods, which are like totally separated from your gear. They are connected to a gear slot, but not to a certain gear item, and they make you better all the time. So yeah, a lot of depth could have been added there. Again, wasn't the plan of the Ubisoft team, sadly. Your icon, your flying mount, plays such an important role in the game. You would think. Like, it's just for traveling, really. There are certain situations where you have a flight mid-air, but they are rare and you don't have to take all of them. Like, maybe there are 1 to 2 connected to the story, but that's it. And those enemies in the air, they are super easy to take out. Your icon, yeah, he's always there for you and he will like be an awesome guy to jump down from a pad and then don't look at the explosion but call the icon mid-air. That's nice looking. But yeah, besides that, I didn't even invest anything into my icon skill tree. It's not needed at all, because it just works as it is and there's no need for anything to change. I'm not sure if they removed something, because in one mission they say prepare your icon, feed him, do that and this, and then go on the mission, and that would be like the perfect spot to really upgrade your icon and invest into him and get him some nice gear, etc. And that's not been added. It's just cosmetic and he has energy, and that's like the whole thing about it. So a lot of depth missed there again. Now let's briefly talk about the story, because I don't want to spoil you guys anything. It's just a basic Avatar story, like one you would imagine that happens on Pandora. It's just the conflict of humans invading Pandora, the home of the Navi. And yeah, that's basically it. All the stuff you would expect that will happen, of course. And it's just maybe a basic recreation of the story of the film. It's not bad, but it didn't really hook me. Like, I wasn't there sitting, oh, what will happen next? It was just like, oh yeah, I'm heading there because of XYZ, and then I will probably do XYZ because that's what normally would happen. And most of the time that is the case. We have some surprises, of course, but yeah, don't expect something fancy. Next up, I want to talk about the shop and microtransactions. And the good thing is there are only 3 packages with really useful stuff that have some stats to it. So 3 microtransaction packages with actual equipment that you could use to improve your gameplay. And it will only improve your character build for the first like 10 hours. After that, you will have better gear than that one that you can buy. But yeah, you can buy an advantage for the first 10 hours, and that isn't a good thing, I think. Besides that, everything is cosmetical. There's no like map clearing pack that you had in Assassin's Creed Mirage, for example, or every one of the last Assassin's Creeds where you get those map markers on the whole map for $5. It's not in the game, and that makes exploration a little bit harder, but maybe too hard in this case, because it's not like hunting for something. It's just like you seek through the map and search for the right term to appear on the map, and then, yeah, I need to go there. Besides that, I think the shop is okay. I mean, there are not that many microtransactions. Only cosmetical ones, you don't need them at all. I wouldn't buy them at all. And those that give you gameplay opportunities, I would say, are only good for a certain amount of time in the game. And that's totally fine in this case. I have seen pretty damn worse Ubisoft shops, especially in Assassin's Creed Mirage, where the best items in the game by far were only available in the shop. My last bullet point is, of course, co-op gameplay. Playing in co-op is so much fun in Avatar. Again, it's like it was made for that, I think, because those repetitive and always the same bases, they turn into something different if you bring a co-op player in, because they might interact with the base in another way that you wouldn't. So we have some kind of new stuff added via co-op gameplay. But to make a game dependent on co-op gameplay isn't a good choice, and they didn't do that. But I think it improves the game by far. It's so much more fun in co-op. I would totally recommend to play through the whole game in co-op if you can manage to do so. I think you can start playing co-op after 1.5 hours. And yeah, what are my final thoughts? I would give it a 7 out of 10. Why is that? I think playing the game is fun if you like the standard Far Cry gameplay loop. It's like the Far Cry gameplay loop. Basically, that's it. But it's worse than Far Cry 6, and Far Cry 6, for example, is my 4th least favorite Far Cry of the last Far Crys, because my favorite Far Cry is Far Cry 5, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, Far Cry 6, and then we have Avatar, I would say. Or maybe even like some Far Cry spin-off after that. And speaking of Far Cry, yeah, it doesn't do the things that Far Cry does very well as well. It doesn't have the humor or the extremely crazy good antagonist, and it sometimes just makes you feel lost in this gigantic world. I mean, you are a giant as well as the Blue Man Group, but yeah, 7 out of 10 is the best I can give for the game. And as much as I would want to love it, I don't love it. I think the game needs many improvements, many systems that need more depth. The good thing is, this game is quite hard to beat. It's a difficult game. That isn't enough to make it exciting. I'm not excited at all for playing New Game Plus or so if they want to add it, or excited for any DLC that will come out, sadly. I was hyped before, but I am not hyped anymore. And I would say, if you like the Far Cry gameplay loop, if like clearing out bases is enough for you, and sometimes upgrading your gear and finding new skills is enough for you, that's a game for you. If you expect an excellent, interesting story, don't go for it. If you expect like a system of depth, then don't go for it. And if you want like a lot of gameplay variation, then don't go for it, sadly. I know this doesn't sound too good, but I would say, yeah, get it for 30 to 50 bucks. That's fine. Or get it with Ubisoft Plus, the subscription, for 15 bucks and finish it in a month, and then you're good to go. Like for 30 bucks, 50 bucks, this is a totally fine experience, but I wouldn't pay 80 for it, to be honest. That's what I think about Avatar. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Tell me in the comments, and check out those guides where I tell you what to do or how to do things in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I have a lot of fun with the game, but not as much as I sadly wished I would have. Alright, I speak to you in the next game, video of course. Maybe in a game, I always like that. I was especially proud of speaking a role in Assassin's Creed Valhalla for an NPC, or more than one NPC. Alright, that's it. See you, goodbye.